Another week. You forget the
Welcome to
sign.
the Pinfall Podcast.
What was that?
Welcome to the Pinfall Podcast.
Yeah. Welcome.
I had to choose between doing my hair and getting the sign.
Mm.
And I pulled my hair back instead.
Priorities.
Happy Impact Day.
You're the host, Liz, and I'm the co-host, Marcus. You forgot that.
Sorry, I'm out of it.
You are. You're way too tired. You gotta perk up.
It's an out of touch
You
Thursday.
gotta perk up. We have a big show ahead of us. Big Impact. Double or Nothing predictions. I look pale as shit.
I look tired.
Yeah, we are doing our predictions for AEW's Double or Nothing after we cover the best of the night and recap tonight's Impact. And we'll go over everything involved with the predictions then. Wake up. I want to give you like 5-hour energy every week. Every Thursday. What?
I'm gonna have my little drink.
It's gonna make you more sleepy. CBD.
No.
It's gonna make you tired.
No, it's gonna make me calm.
Yes. Calm means more tired for you.
Well, we'll find out, won't we?
Give me a second. Oh, Jesus Christ. Hold on. Hold on. I'm adjusting things. Oh, that's the wrong thing. That didn't do shit. Okay. Sorry, I was messing with my light. So you want to talk about some news? Actually, gotta give a rundown of tonight's Impact. So banger alert. We had Alex Shelley versus Trey Miguel. What was that? Was that the taste of the drink?
Oh, okay. I thought I tasted stevia.
Mm-hmm.
And I was gonna like
Mm.
I was not about to drink a whole entire can of something with stevia in it, sorry.
Gotcha.
I have self-respect.
Well, as I was saying, banger alert, Alex Shelley versus Trey Miguel. Qualifying match for the Ultimate X match at Slammiversary. That's opened the show. We then had Masha Slamovich versus Havoc. Jobber alert. Havoc jobbed out in a 1-minute match against Masha. Miriam said so no stevia sponsorship for the podcast anytime soon. Looks like it.
Yeah, no stevia, no monk fruit.
Sorry, stevia and monk
None
fruit.
of that. Oh, God.
We also had Chelsea Green versus Jordan Grace, another great match. Chris Saban versus Frankie Kazarian. Shara and Raj Singh versus Groupinder Gujar and W. Morrissey. And then Violent by Design versus Josh Alexander and the Briscoes. Pretty standard Impact episode. Nothing extraordinary. Nothing nothing outlandish. It was all just by the books. But
yeah,
I have a question for you, and it's a little. It's something I thought about while we were watching the main event, and it's a little concern that I have for Impact, and a little reservation I have with Impact. What do you think is the main event? And I don't mean main event like the last match of the show. What do you think is, by Impact standards, or by like according to Impact, the most important thing going on? Like, what do you think for them is the A storyline?
Josh and Eric. I mean, they're getting video packages.
Right. Now, I watched this episode, and I watched last episode. None of the Josh, Eric Young stuff seems to be very important in terms of programming. They don't give it much, at least nowhere near as important as Josh and Moose. You don't see these head-to-head confrontations between Josh and Eric Young. We got a video package last week from Eric, but it seems like right now they're struggling to find like an A storyline, like a main event. Like they can't really find importance in anything they're doing. They had something with Bullet Club and Honor No More, but that's gone.
Yeah.
Same with Bullet Club and GOD, that's gone.
Yeah. Which sucks, because that was barely touched.
Yeah. And they had something with Honor No More versus Impact. That's done with. I don't see what like the main plot is of Impact. I feel like they're not playing up Josh versus Eric Young enough. They're not showing VBD as like a big antagonist. They're just, I don't know, they're going after the Briscoes a few times for the titles.
Yeah. I listen, I know what you're saying. And it sucks because like you would think that with Slammiversary they'd want it to be big because it's their 20th anniversary.
Yeah. And it's like
anniversary.
The only thing that makes this worthy of a 20th anniversary is Eric Young and his tenure with the company. If you replace Eric Young with anyone, you could have the same exact storyline. You can have this verbatim minus that one promo if you replace Eric Young with anyone. But for example, like Paige and CM Punk, for example. That's like
you said Paige out of like Paige, like
Paige
the wrestler. And I was like,
but Adam Page and CM Punk, that's like that's the main event. Like they're talking about it. They get airtime every week, confrontations whenever they can. Like that is something that is very clear they're prioritizing. Same with WWE and the tag belts, unifying those. That was a very big deal for a little while. Mm-hmm. That was the story with Backlash, although they went around on they turned around on it. And that seems to be the story going forward is RK Bro and the Bloodline. With Violent by Design and Josh, it doesn't seem like it's important. Like with Paige and Punk, Paige literally said, "I am defending AEW against you." That is very clear, big stakes right there. Even though it's like personal stakes, it's very clearly established. Josh doesn't seem like he could give a shit. And that's not his fault.
I mean, he's only really responded to Eric once.
Yeah, his response was, "I don't care." Like that was literally his response. "I don't care what you did in your past." Like he respected it, but it doesn't matter, essentially. Like VBD needs to be violent, I feel like. They need to be a major player, and Honor No More is a fucking bigger player than VBD right now.
Yeah.
And Honor No More is a bunch of fucking goofballs who can't get any wins. And Eddie Edwards is their biggest dude who's taken the most seriously, and he's not even Honor No More, he's Impact.
I don't know, man.
Bullet Club's also gone. Jay White's fucking out of here. Chris Bay wasn't even on TV today. Good Brothers were only in a promo. Like, it seems like
Slammiversary just feels like when it's supposed to be this big ass thing, and I don't feel like it's gonna live up to what it should be.
I give more of a shit about Sammy and Moose than Josh and Eric. That shouldn't happen.
Yeah, honestly, you're right. Because there's history there.
Yeah. And you've built up this big baby face, Josh, who is probably the one of the greatest wrestlers in the world actively right now, and the biggest baby face in the entirety of pro wrestling. And Eric Young, the leader of one of the biggest factions in Impact. But it doesn't feel like that. It doesn't feel like it has the scale it should. Joe Doring did not even he wasn't tagged in once in this match.
That was weird.
Like, save the fucking VBD internal conflicts till after you have this big main event. I don't know.
But I don't even think that's leading to internal conflict. I don't know what that was about. That was weird.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because if you're gonna push a storyline anywhere where they're like, oh, we don't trust you to get the job done, you would think it'd be Diener.
Yeah.
Because Diener's the fall guy.
Yeah.
So I don't understand the whole not tagging Doring in at all thing.
Maybe it's like they want to save Doring for Slammiversary, and like they don't want the Briscoes to know what Doring's like until the big match. But if that's the case, make a point of that. Don't just make it this little detail in promos. Make it something you talk about. I don't know. I don't know.
It was tonight's episode was weird. It raised more questions than it gave answers.
And at this point, going to Slammiversary in what, 2 weeks? Is next week the go home? Or is the week after the go home?
Slammiversary is June 19th.
Okay, so the week after is...
We've got a couple weeks.
Okay. Yeah. So there...
Oh no, we don't. Actually, there's 2 more episodes.
Okay.
Before Slammiversary.
Yeah, I feel it doesn't feel like they're hyping it up much. The most important things right now seem to be the Queen of the Mountain and Sammy and Moose and the Ultimate X. Those seem like the most important things. It seems like Eric Young is just another open challenge for Josh.
Which is funny because like his whole storyline is him being like, I wasn't really respected.
Yeah.
I was just in it to like make the money and like try not to get fired.
Yeah, and I'm sure the match will be like match of the year. But there's no hype for it. I don't know. We'll probably touch on this later when we're talking about the actual episode, but let's talk about the news.
Yeah, because we do have a handful of news.
I've got a little bit of news on Layla Hirsch if you don't have it.
Not moved from where she was last. She has decided that she's going to just sit by the bag.
And I've got a little bit of news about Layla Hirsch if you don't.
Oh, you know what's funny? I was just thinking about her today.
How are you?
Or yesterday. Yeah. Okay, let's see what we've got for news first. Bookmarks. So let's start with some indie news, I guess. Apparently Jack Evans was announced to debut for Progress.
Good for him.
Yeah. He is going to be at Super Strong Style 16 with his head still shaved. He looks fucking weird. Also, Court Bauer announced that MLW apparently has signed Lance Anoa'i, The Rock's cousin.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How old is he?
I literally don't know.
Let me see.
30.
Okay, so
he is as Court Bauer put it, he's part of our new era of Samoan SWAT team with Fatu and Big Juicy.
He looks so much like Aaron Solo. It's weird.
Really?
He looks like if Aaron Solo was Samoan.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's fucking weird. He does. Like if Aaron Solo were an Uso.
Yeah. I wonder if they'll do a program with him and Jacob Fatu or make him a tag team or something.
He's part of the Samoan SWAT team.
Oh.
With Fatu and Big Juicy.
I forgot Juicy was in that. I haven't seen Juicy on MLW a long time.
Yeah. In some AEW news, apparently it looks like William Regal is going to launch a new podcast.
Hell yeah.
With apparently Conrad Thompson. It's going to be called Gentleman Villain.
Yes. Oh my god. I would listen to the shit out of a William Regal podcast.
Yeah, honestly, I kind of just want to like listen to him. Like, I want to fall asleep to his voice, I think.
Yeah.
Even if he's like saying like nasty shit, like I wanted to fucking strangle this guy, I'll be like,
it's like that Samuel L. Jackson,
honk shoe, baby.
Like that Samuel L. Jackson lullaby or whatever, bedtime story.
Yeah. That debuts on next Thursday, June 2nd.
Okay.
Then in addition to AEW news, apparently Tony Khan said that he's interested in bringing Johnny Elite back to AEW after his little debut.
I feel like that's a really good decision because Johnny Elite is like one of a kind. He'll bring a lot of variety to AEW.
Yeah.
I feel like at this point, Tony Khan should really only sign people that are like one of a kind.
Yeah, that makes sense.
They don't need...
You need people to stand out.
Yeah, they don't need anyone else right now.
Now, before I steal your news piece, because I almost just did, why don't you tell me about Layla Hirsch?
Yeah, so for those who don't know, Layla Hirsch got injured on Elevation on April 5th. She landed at a moonsault on her feet and tore her ACL. And today she finally had her surgery. And this happened in the middle of her feud with Chris Statlander, right? Or Red Velvet, both of them. But it was like at the tail end of that. So best of luck to her and recovering from that surgery. And it's definitely not an easy injury to come back from, but
no. But hopefully she does soon.
Yeah. Godspeed.
Also, in other AEW news, Thunder Rosa is going to auction off her ring gear after her match. And she is going to put the money towards the families of the children that were murdered at the school shooting in Texas. So I guess she's going to auction that off afterwards. It doesn't specifically cite a certain charity, but I thought that was pretty cool. Then we'll talk about some WWE real quick. WWE had a weird fucking day today. They had a weird one.
Yeah.
First, not weird, but Titus O'Neil is going to serve as the Indy 500 Snake Pit Grand Marshal this coming Sunday at the Indy 500, which I already said, but I didn't register that was the Indy 500 at the time. So that's cool. Also, in the biggest WWE news today, Money in the Bank got weird. The location moved. Fans got all their tickets refunded, but like all the fans that purchased tickets are going to have first dibs on getting tickets to the new tickets. That didn't make any sense, but you know what I mean. Apparently, it was supposed to be at Allegiant Stadium. It's been moved to MGM Grand Arena. Apparently, that is because they were disappointed in ticket sales and they wanted to move to a smaller arena to make it less,
obvious.
Yeah. And apparently, according to Wrestle Talk, the official maximum capacity of Allegiant Stadium is 71,835 people, whereas the MGM Grand Arena is only 17,000.
Very optimistic for Money in the Bank.
Yes. It's weird. And then on top of that, to add to the weirdness, if I didn't just close out of all of the articles, it looks like some folks were removed from the Money in the Bank advertising. At this point, the poster, the old poster featured Roman Reigns, Brock, Charlotte, Becky, and Ronda. And none of them are on the poster now. Right now, it is just, it looks like, there's Cody, Riddle's on it, Bianca. I don't think I'm looking at the full poster, but it definitely does not feature any of the people that were originally on the poster, which I think is kind of...
I'm sure it'll still have all those people, but it is an interesting sign.
Yeah.
I've also got a little bit of news about indie show. Indie, quote unquote.
All right, go for it.
So, for those of you who remember it, StarCast is returning. StarCast was that show where that infamous Cody Rhodes promo, "Where's that ref? He tried to fuck on me," quote came from. And it's also going to be where Ric Flair's having his last match. Now, arguments of whether or not he should be having a last match aside, there's rumors of what that last match is going to be. And it looks like maybe that last match is Hulk Hogan. Maybe. He was on a podcast talking about his last match, and he accidentally let it slip, the name Hulk Hogan, and the interviewer was like, "Wait a minute, are you confirming right now that your opponent is Hulk Hogan?" And he stammered back and forth, and so it's more or less teased that his last opponent will be Hulk Hogan, and we know Ric Flair can still go a little bit, at least in training with Jay Lethal, but there's no way Hulk Hogan can do a single thing. No more leg drops, maybe a collar and elbow tie-up, that's it. And Hulk Hogan's not eating a loss. But also announced for StarCast are various talents, including Miro, Bryan Danielson, Tony Schiavone, David Crockett, amongst
Johnny Gargano,
Chelsea Green. Now who's wrestling and who's just there for appearances? I don't know. They don't specify. Just that they're coming to StarCast. But the people like Johnny and Danielson and Miro, I would assume those are just for appearances. But you never know. I mean, Ric Flair is on the fucking show, so. So yeah. That's that.
Yes. That's pretty much all the news I had. So.
Okay. Well, let's talk about Impact.
Yeah. All right.
So, opening up the show, we had a banger. Alex Shelley versus Trey and Miguel. This match, this rocked. This was amazing.
You gotta love a good teacher-student match.
Yeah. And it wasn't just flippy shit either. Like, this stuff, this had everything.
Yeah. We start off with kind of a standoff of sorts, and nobody's really kind of giving an inch. Eventually, we get a chop to the chest of Trey, and then a kick to Shelley through the ropes, as well as kind of like a pump handle over the ropes. Then, before I knock this seltzer all over my laptop, we get a kick to the arm of Shelley, and then Trey slides through the ropes. Shelley meets him, strikes his chest. Then Miguel kicks Shelley in the jaw, goes to moonsault onto him, but Shelley avoids it, chops him instead. Shelley then goes to chop him again and chops the steel ring post instead. Trey then moonsaults onto Shelley, ringside. Back in the ring, he goes up top. Shelley avoids that. He drop kicks the knee of Trey once Trey is back on the ground safely. And then he starts pulling the knee of Trey against the ropes as Trey sort of rains blows onto Shelley's back. It doesn't really do anything. Shelley then hits a dragon screw to the other leg. And then we get another dragon screw, and then a sort of chin lock of some variety on Trey. But Trey reaches the ropes. Eventually, once he's up, he jumps over Shelley, lands a double stomp, which was super weird because, like, he changed, like, what he was doing mid-flight.
Yeah.
Which I thought was strange. Like, he was just, like, jumping up over him, and then he, like, landed the double stomp, and I was like, okay, sure.
Gravity sometimes
Trey sort of mounts an onslaught of offense.
Sorry, gravity sometimes ignores people.
It's true. He mounts an onslaught of offense. We finish with a funky sort of like dragon sleeper on Shelley. Then he hits a double stomp to the back of Shelley's neck, which was nasty. They exchange blows for a little bit while holding hands. Shelley goes for another dragon screw, but Miguel enziguris him, slaps the shit out of him, and then kicks him in the face. Shelley then goes for a sliced bread, but gets shoved away. We get a kick upside the head of Shelley. Trey goes for the Meteora, misses, lands on his knees, which are now injured at this point. And then Shelley hits him with a driver. We get automatic midnight and still no pin to Trey. Shelley goes for shell shot, can't get it. And then Trey rolls Shelley up with a crucifix pin to win. And Shelley just fucking storms off.
Yeah.
Never to be seen again.
Yeah, but it's a good finish to protect Shelley, but gives the win to Trey. Really great match overall. Definitely a contender. Maybe a contender for match of the year.
Yeah.
Also, I'm looking at a clip a fan took yesterday of Dynamite and Great O'Khan slamming Trent through the table. And you know how Great O'Khan does this before he does his little claw slam thing? As he's doing like halfway, Trent starts jumping before he finishes. And so, like, Great O'Khan, like, stumbles and tries to, like, stay on him. But it's just so funny. Trent goes way too early, and it looks so botched. And Great O'Khan's just staring down at him. Like, you motherfucker.
God.
Oh, my God. So after that, we had an interview with the Briscoes and Josh. Mark said, "Dem boys are not only the baddest in Impact, but we're the baddest on the planet." Jay said, "We beat you for the titles and the rematch, but you want to jump us after the match. You got us, but tonight we have a third man." Josh says, "Tonight you guys put to rest this beef you have. I get to send a message to Eric Young. You're looking at the future of this company. If you plan on taking this, I will be better than I have ever been." And I think this is the problem. We're mixing the story, like they're mixing up the storylines right now.
Yeah.
The way Josh is wording it here, it seems like he's trying to prove himself as being the face of the company. But Eric Young is like, no. Like, this is about, like, my legacy and Impact. And the way Eric Young is booked right now. It doesn't work to have a face of Impact versus face of Impact. That it doesn't work with Eric Young. If it's Chris Saban, absolutely that works. But 100, like, you need to do big babyface versus big monster heel. That's your story. It's not going to work otherwise, and it is not working right now. The wires are getting jumbled, and it's being outshined by other storylines. So the Good Brothers then walk in, and Gallows says, "Those titles look fancy on your shoulders. You won't be considered the real champs around here until you've beaten us." Carl Anderson says, "Until you beat us, your title reign doesn't count." And then Jay just says, "And then let's make it count." And it looks like we have the match set up for Slammiversary. Briscoes versus Good Brothers. Unless what happens later. But next we have Masha Slamovich versus Havoc.
Yeah, I guess we do. They both slap each other across the face. Havoc slams Masha from place to place, clotheslines her. It actually looks like, wow, damn, Havoc kind of has like the upper hand here. And then Slamovich gets several strikes. None really land until she kicks her, Havoc in the stomach. Then we get an axe kick against the back of the neck and a bit of a roundhouse. And then Masha hits the snowplow on Havoc to win.
Yeah.
That's all she wrote.
And as they mentioned, former knockout women's knockouts champion.
Yeah.
And it seems like Rosemary might be next for Masha. So I guess they're building a Masha to be a champion, or at least a big contender. Maybe she'll be the one to take down Tasha. At least from a
Wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah, wouldn't be shocked. But at least from a wrestling perspective, it seems like that would be a very good decision, at least for where they're leading. Don't know how.
I just want Masha to like cut a promo.
Yeah. And we'll probably see. I'm sure they'll give her a storyline. Maybe the program with Rosemary will test that out.
Yeah.
So then we have Trey Miguel and Blake Christian and two other random guys. They're all like celebrating Trey's win and entry into the Ultimate X match. But then Kenny King walks in. He says, he's trying to mess with Trey, and Trey says, "Big bad Kenny King here to ruin someone's moment." And Kenny looks at Blake Christian and says, "I don't know who you are, but I know who I am. You don't know me because you're a nobody. Trey, you're a hothead. You put the battery in your back and you go off." And Blake Christian chimes in and says, "If I'm a nobody, how about we have a match out there? Let's put that Ultimate X spot on the line." Trey says, "You're the greatest X Division champ of all time. I know you're not afraid to defend that against said nobody." And then Kenny King accepts. I'm going to be pretty upset if Kenny loses that spot. Because I was like...
I think Kenny's losing that spot.
We've already seen Blake Christian in a Ultimate X match. I want to see Kenny in
What did I say?
Yeah.
It's the usual fucking suspects.
They have to, like, it's Slammiversary. They have to put in somebody at some point that we've never seen in Ultimate X before. Like,
or that we have, but like ages ago.
Put Rhino in there. Put
sure.
W. Morrissey in that match. That would be insane. He could just...
That wouldn't be fair. You would just reach up and grab it. Match over.
Put Joe Doring and Morrissey in there. Have Doring work double duty. Bronson Reed's not with Impact anymore. Because right now it's Ace Austin, it's Speedball, Trey Miguel, and Kenny King.
Right.
Soon to be Blake Christian. We've seen Vincent in Ultimate X already. Who could they put in that would be different? Black Taurus.
Joe Doring.
I feel like they should have like a heavyweight. Put a big dude in there.
But they like with Ultimate X, they're like, oh, there's no weight class, blah blah blah. But like it's flippy shit, boys.
It's not flippy shit. It's junior heavyweights.
Yeah,
it's Jake something, if you can consider him junior heavyweight. Maybe Black Taurus. Maybe they stick him in there. That'd be cool. Or
maybe
have who could they bring over from like New Japan to do it? Have someone follow Ace Austin back to Impact. Get El Phantasmo. That'd be cool.
he's busy though.
Ooh, Miriam suggested Hiromu. That'd be cool. That'd be sick as fuck. And yeah, he made a claim for the X Division title, so he wants to challenge Ace for it.
Who, Hiromu?
Yeah.
I guess, if you really think about it, if Ace is in it, then I guess you can't say that New Japan Super Junior was to end before then.
Yeah, absolutely. Because it ends like June 3rd, I think.
Or Ace Austin comes back with Alex Zane still tied to his hip.
Yeah, they gotta add someone that's that we've never seen in it before. Add Scott Steiner.
Okay.
Add Braun Breaker to it. Forbidden Door, the real Forbidden Door, just sending Braun Breaker over to Impact. So anyway, we then have promo from Rich Swann. It says, Matt Cardona, ever since I threw out that challenge, you've been ducking. If you won't come to me, I'll come for you. I'll take that title off your hands no matter where. Now, Mr. Drama King, Matthew, you want to toss me out of the gauntlet, but you struck me from behind. Come around that desk and meet me face to face. I don't care what it takes, I'm going to take you out. That match meant so much to me. I don't care if it takes all night long, I'm getting my revenge. And then we get Chelsea Green versus Jordynne Grace. And this match was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was. Hard hitting.
Yeah.
So immediately Chelsea runs out of the ring, runs around the ring, gets back in the ring. And then when Jordynne catches up to her, she slaps her. Then we get a big elbow to Green and a shoulder tackle. We get an elbow to the face of Jordynne over the ropes. Jordynne then gets her upside down on the ropes, knees her in the neck multiple times before hitting her with a neck breaker off those ropes, which I thought looked nasty. We then get a senton off the apron to Jordynne. Green ends up sending Grace into the turnbuckles. We get a kick and a boot to the face of Grace before Grace just fucking slams the body of Green down in a spine buster. Chelsea did not tuck her head quite enough because it slapped the mat. And I was like, oh. We get some strikes to Green, and then Green is up on the shoulders of Grace, and Green gets driven into the canvas. Jordynne then puts Green up top, gets her up, like, again on her shoulders, but in a different way, goes for the muscle buster. Doesn't get it. Green breaks free, headbutts Grace, drives her face first into the canvas, but Grace bridges out of the cover. We get some clubbing blows to Green, and then Green ends up hitting back with an elbow. She tries for the unprettier, but Jordynne gets free. Green goes up top in an electric chair on Jordynne's shoulders once again, but she fights free. Jordynne Grace still gets the Grace driver to win the match.
It's a cool move.
Yeah.
So after that, we get Scott D'Amore and Honor No More. I think, I don't remember who said what here, but I think Mike Bennett said, are you going to address the elephant in the room? Unsafe work environments here, and pulling people like the Good Brothers make it right. Scott D'Amore says, I see why you'd want a match. When you talk about you guys versus Good Brothers, I get so excited. But that changed 10 minutes ago. Their dance card is already full. They're challenging the Briscoes. Then Bennett says, you're giving them our title shot. Eddie Edwards steps in and says, if we don't get what we want, nobody wins. And I got a feeling that match at Slammiversary is going to be a triple threat.
Yeah.
OGK, Good Brothers, and Briscoes.
You know, I agree with Mike Bennett. Maybe Scott D'Amore should not be employing the Good Brothers. Maybe he's got a point.
It would be weird if it wasn't a triple threat, honestly, because we've already seen Briscoes and Good Brothers before at Multiverse matches.
Yeah.
So then we have an interview with Deonna Purrazzo. She says, isn't this a tale as old as time? Every time someone comes into Impact, they come after me. Champ or not, I am the face of the Knockouts. Nothing is going to change. I am going to continue to make history. Tasha Steelz walks in and she says, did I hear you say history? The only current Knockouts that have made history is Tasha Steelz. I defeated 5 women in the first Knockouts Ultimate X match. I'm not here to fight with you. We're not friends, but we have something in common. Mia Yim. I have Savannah taking her on. There's an extra spot ringside. Come down and take a look, and we can end this Mia Yim problem before it begins. Mia Yim is 100% beating Savannah. Like, that is happening.
Yeah, no.
So then we get Chris Saban versus Frankie Kazarian.
Not my favorite match in the world. The crowd was not there.
Really? I didn't notice.
Yeah, no, I felt like it was dead quiet.
It would have been a lot better if the ending hadn't happened. This is like the worst version of United Empire invading.
You know, Pepita is so funny. Like, for whatever reason, when I lock her in here, she lays between the art boxes I have under the desk and the shoebox that I have down there.
Mm-hmm.
She just lays herself between there at my feet and just loafs. Anyways, we get headlock after headlock on Saban and a lot of quick pins into another headlock on Saban. Kazarian gets sent over the ropes, and that nearly like fucking knocks him out. He looks like shit for a second. We go ringside. It starts getting a little mean after that. It starts getting a little tense, how you say? Kazarian gets sent into the post, and we get a crossbody to Kaz off the ropes. We get a back to belly to Frankie, but still no pin. Frankie gets sent into the corner, and we get a boot to the throat before a hard chop to the chest. Saban ends up like getting Frankie's arms crossed around his throat and then pulls back with a knee into Kazarian's spine. Then we get a German suplex to Kazarian and sort of a scoop slam to Saban and a leg drop but no pin. Saban gets Frankie up top. He wants the cradle shock, but Kazarian slips out, gets enziguried. Then we get a boot to the face of Kazarian and a tornado DDT. Kaz goes up top, gets just fucking launched in what was kind of supposed to be a suplex, I guess. It didn't really look like a suplex to me.
Yeah, it kind of looked like an arm drag.
Yeah, it was just very loose. Mm-hmm. He doesn't get pinned off that, and it's kind of like, who the fuck is going to win this fucking match? Because it really has been evenly paired. And then Honor and More come in and DQ the match as their way of saying that if they don't get what they want, nobody does.
Yeah, and then I think the one match I read from or looked at from the spoilers, I think was Motor City Machine Guns and Kaz versus some people from Honor No More. Makes sense.
That makes sense.
Probably OGK and Eddie.
Dude, I got so worried today. Josh Alexander posted this like tweet about PCO, and it was like, this is like the first guy that or not first guy, something like 4 years ago we had this match together. It was amazing. What an incredible guy, like blah, blah, blah. And I was like,
you thought he died? I
was like, did something happen? Did I miss something? Because I don't think I can watch Impact tonight if PCO isn't there. Mm-hmm. I was like, I'm not ready for that. Yeah. But no, he's fine. Josh was just being very, very sentimental for no fucking reason, I guess.
I think he did take a scary bump at the tapings.
Oh, did he?
I think so.
Oh my god.
If I remember correctly. But I guess we'll have to see, like, next week or the week after. I think it is next week because PCO has a match. So then we have a promo from Honor No More. And this I legit have no idea who said what, so I'm just gonna start reading as the group. You see those two guys, they represent 20 years of Impact. You see what we did to them. Why do you deserve to celebrate 20 years? 20 years of disrespect. This company has no respect. What are we celebrating? 20 years of worth of lies. 20 years of disrespect. Heath and Rhino then come in. And Heath says, you all sound stupid. You got fired, put on the curb. I did too. But who gave me an opportunity? Impact did. You guys are ungrateful pieces of crap. And I got kids. He actually said that at one point during this promo. He said, I got kids. Like,
there was a lot happening there.
Like, while they were all bickering. It was like it should have been like a back and forth. Heath is like, I got kids. Matt Taven's like, I'm Matt Taven. I got kids. I'm Matt Taven. I got kids. I'm Matt Taven. Rhino then says, Impact was the only company that gave me an opportunity in 2005. They don't handcuff you, but all you guys are complaining pieces of shit. Which was censored. Whole brawl breaks out, but security breaks it up. And then we go to the ring for Shara and Raj Singh versus Bhupinder Gujjar and W. Morrissey.
Okay. This match was everything to me. Like, I love Morrissey putting Bhupinder over.
Morrissey's just wonderful in front of a crowd, always.
And on top of that, it's like just knowing that, like, the first kind of real, like, sort of interaction that we had was watching Morrissey BQE that one guy into the table.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, Bhupinder was not on camera, but was, like, in the ring, like...
Aiden Prince, that was his name.
Yeah. And Bhupinder was just, like, so excited. Yeah. So, like, seeing that happen and, like, being here now, I'm like, oh, we've come so far. So we start with Raj and Bhupinder. We get a dropkick to Raj, and Shara kind of takes a swipe at Gujjar. Then we get, like, a really bad sling blade to Raj, but it seemed kind of like it wasn't Bhupinder's fault. It was Raj didn't sell an ounce of it. He fell down, but, like, the actual movement he did not sell. Morrissey gets in. He uses Gujjar as kind of a bit of a weapon, slamming him down onto Raj. Hits him with an elbow drop. Hits him with another elbow drop. And then he's like, Bhupinder, you want to get in for the third? And Bhupinder's like, hell yeah. And Bhupinder comes in for the third elbow drop. Raj then kind of swings on Gujjar, who goes... sorry. Let me try that again. Raj swings Gujjar into Shara, who knees him in the back. Shara kind of gets hit by Bhupinder, but Raj drops Gujjar on the ropes as he's distracted. And then it's sort of a free-for-all because Morrissey accidentally distracts the ref, and Shara and Raj just kind of go at him. Or at Bhupinder, for that matter. We get some shoulders to the midsection of Gujjar after Shara gets in. Raj gets back in pretty quickly. He hits a flatliner to Gujjar, who kind of starts fighting back with a few strikes. Doesn't really work. Singh gets a back elbow off, but that also doesn't really work because Gujjar ends up power slamming Raj. He gets Morrissey back in. Shara gets in. Morrissey takes on Shara and Raj at the same exact time. He wants the BQE on Raj for whatever reason. Raj is not the legal man. And Shara attacks. He gets a few bear paws for interrupting, though. Bhupinder then takes Shara out. We had a huge choke slam to Singh. And then Morrissey asks the crowd if they want Bhupinder to get that pin. And, of course, they say yes. And Bhupinder gets in, hits the spear to win the match.
Yes. Yes. Both men are very over with the crowd, and it helps Bhupinder get over by having him team with Morrissey. Because Morrissey is just so fucking good with the crowd. I don't know how he does it.
Yeah.
But he is a delight.
I don't know. It's amazing.
So then we have an interview with Moose. He says Sami Callihan is the biggest fraud of pro wrestling. He has all these people thinking he's playing mind games. He's scared of me. Last time we went face to face, I broke his ankle and sent him out on a stretcher. I know what you're doing. And then Macklin walks in. And earlier it was announced that Macklin and Moose will be teaming up against PCO and Morrissey, right? Is that the team? Moose and Macklin, PCO and Morrissey?
Maybe.
That's a weird team. I know it's a weird team.
I literally could probably tell you right now.
Okay. While you look that up.
Yeah, PCO team with W. Morrissey to face Steve Macklin and Moose.
That's weird. Why?
Yeah.
Why not PCO and Vincent?
But also on that note, PCO didn't take really a scary bump per se, but he did injure himself.
Okay.
Apparently he went shoulder first into the steel ring steps and may have knocked something loose.
Gotcha.
Which, in comparison to all of the other things that he does in the ring, very tame.
Yeah.
Thank God.
But Macklin said, preferably I'd rather work alone, but I need you to get Sammy out of your head. Moose says, Sammy's not in my head. Next week I'll be ready. But then the screen glitches. And then Moose is freaking out. He's like, I can't see the screen, but I feel like I'm freaking out. I feel like something's happening. And then Macklin just looks at him and he says, I need you to get him out of your head. And then we get Violent by Design versus Josh Alexander and the Briscoes in the main event.
Yeah. Interesting match. We start with Josh versus Diener. Josh kind of flings Diener around before getting Jay in. We get a boot to the throat of Diener, and then they kind of just slap chests for a little bit. Or after Mark gets in, they start slapping chests. Eric Young then gets in against Jay. We get a headbutt and then a snap suplex to Eric. And basically, despite my lack of attention for the most part in the first few minutes of this match, the Briscoes and Josh just kind of overwhelmed BBD for a long time.
It's because they only sent Diener in.
Right.
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it was very one-sided for a very long time, basically up until, because Jay dives off onto VBD. Mark then goes off the top rope onto them. Eric Young kind of gets like a leg up for a second, gets Jay in the corner. Jay fights back though with a jawbreaker, tags out to Josh. Josh punches Eric Young. Eric Young slips away. Josh gives chase, only to get sidelined by Diener. Diener then gets in. Josh gets sent into the turnbuckle. It doesn't end in a pin, but he gets a front face lock. Sort of slows things down a little bit. Josh then fights out with some punches. We get a Northern Lights suplex to Diener, and then Josh is a little bloody. Busted his nose up a little bit.
Don't know how that happened.
Yeah, I don't either. But Josh starts fighting back, finally gets a boot to Diener and a glancing knee to the back of his neck. Fights off Doring, fights off Eric Young. Mark gets in, Eric Young gets in, they fight. Mark gets in and fights both Eric Young and Diener, like a scrappy little fella. We get a big boot to the face of Eric Young and then an elbow drop from Mark and a cover from Jay, but no pin. Diener tags in, but Jay fights him off, takes Doring down. We get a really cool Hurricane Rana to Eric Young and then a kick to the face of Diener. Mark gets in. Diener is put on Mark's shoulders. Jay drags him down with a neck breaker. They want their doomsday device, but Eric Young hits Mark with the flagpole while Doring distracts the referee. Then we get a Diener GDT to Mark, and it looks like it's going to be the fucking winning move. And we both just sat there like,
I was going to laugh so hard.
Luckily, Josh breaks up the pin. Josh goes for a C4 on Eric Young, but Eric Young out. Jay gets sent out of the ring. Mark slaps Eric Young and Diener before going up top, getting hit by Eric Young's mask by Diener, which sends him down. Then Eric Young gets the pile driver on Mark to win the match.
Yeah. I fully expected Josh and the Briscoes to win off Diener, but with all the cheating they did. Oh wow! Look at us talking about the news still.
Well, it's kind of news.
But yeah, definitely surprising that that VBD won this. They should be terrorizing Josh. Like, you would think, oh, this is another problem. The VBD still want the tag titles. They're splitting their attention. They need to like Eric Young should be like, you guys need to be fucking helping me get this world title, because that is the most important thing right now. It's the most important title in the company, so it should be number one priority. But yet their attention is so divided, and it doesn't even seem like they're going to be at the match at Slammiversary for the tag titles.
Yeah,
like it's weird.
It doesn't feel like Impact knows what to do.
Yeah, it feels like... You know what it feels like? It feels like their plan was Jay White. But then Jay White said, sorry, I can't. That's why we haven't really...
Impossible.
That's why we really haven't seen any Bullet Club. That's why the match against OGK was kind of scrapped. We're seeing Good Brothers move for the Briscoes. I don't know. That's kind of the vibe I get.
I don't totally disagree with you.
Because Jay White versus Josh would be a bigger match than Eric Young. But the thing is, Eric Young would be a big match. It would be a really good match if they were doing it right. But they're not. Josh doesn't seem to care.
I know. I mean, we've got some time still.
Yeah, we do. But that's our recap of tonight's Impact. Stay tuned for our predictions for Double or Nothing after our bests of the night. But for now, if you have a question for us for after our predictions, leave it in the chat now, and we'll get to it after predictions. But for now, before we get to the bests of the night, let me give a quick recap of the top 10 wrestlers in pro wrestling in kayfabe. Purely in kayfabe, wins, losses, all that shit. So yeah. Number 10. He botched a fucking choke slam yesterday. Great O'Khan. Number 9. The Uwu champion of WWE, Roman Reigns. Number 8. Last year's Super Junior winner, Hiromu Takahashi. Number 7. She lost to Ronda Rousey, Charlotte Flair. Number 6. The forgotten Intercontinental Champion, Ricochet. Number 5.
Oh, he's still Intercontinental Champion?
Yes, he is. He's been beating all of Jinder and Shanky.
Okay.
Number 5, from Dragon Gate, Yuki Yoshioka. Number 4, from Dragon Gate, Dragon Dia. Number 3, the King of Pro Wrestling champion, Shingo Takagi. Number 2, from Dragon Gate, Kota Minoura. And number 1, continuing in the spot, from Dragon Gate, Kaito Ishida. I don't know shit about Dragon Gate, so those guys could be like fucking jobbers that just keep getting wins somehow. Or like mid-carders that get jobber wins.
Mm-hmm.
Alright. Let's talk bests of the night. Promo of the night. Man, I don't know. There were no great promos today. Can we make the promo of the night just Scott being sarcastic with Honor No More?
We could. I liked when he chuckled and Mike Bennett called him out.
Yeah. Or can we combine that with Heath shouting, "I got kids," while they're brawling?
Yeah, okay.
I'm not going to call it anything. We're just going to leave it. All right. Wrestler of the night. Here are your 3 choices. Jordan Grace, Trey Miguel, Alex Shelley. Are you there? Okay. You froze for a second.
Yep. Yeah, I felt you freeze. Alex Shelley?
Okay. I can go with that. And finally, match of the night. As always, we go from the worst match to the best match of the night. We'll talk about which match is the match of the night. So, starting off with the worst match of the night. Where the fuck is it? No, the 5 out of 10. Chris Saban versus Frankie Kazarian. Would have been a fine match if, I mean, it was decent, but it would have been a lot better had, Honor No More not gotten involved at the end. Next up, with a 5 out of 10, Shara and Raj Singh versus Groupinder and Morrissey. It was a decent match. It was fine. It was entertaining. Next up, with a 6 out of 10, VBD versus Josh and the Briscoes. Yeah, this is a fun match. A little bit overbooked with the VBD's tactics, but I also wish more wrestlers would be like the Briscoes in the sense that they know what their shtick is. They've created a story for themselves and just show it off in their style. Like, they don't... I haven't seen shit of the Briscoes. I saw them once in Ring of Honor. And then whenever they've been in Impact. But yet I feel like I know everything about them. And I feel like more wrestlers need to think about that and consider that with their characters. And integrating their characters into their wrestling. But next up, with a 7 out of 10, Chelsea Green versus Jordynne Grace. This is a really fun match. Really great. Chelsea actually made it seem like she could beat Jordynne. Like, she put up a really good fight.
Yeah.
But that doesn't compare to the match of the night with the 9 out of 10, Alex Shelley versus Trey Miguel. In a fucking banger. Like, this was so fucking good.
That's fair.
Do you agree?
I do.
You seem a little distracted.
No.
Okay. Alright. So, you want to do some predictions for Double or Nothing?
Yes.
Alright, let me pull up a card. CBS Sports always has an accurate card. I don't want to see their predictions, though. Wikipedia probably has... Yeah, okay. Alright. That's only one pre-show match? No, there's got to be more than one.
What are they listing?
Hookhausen versus Neeson, Mark Sterling.
That's all I've heard.
Oh. Okay. Alright. So, let's do these predictions. Double or Nothing predictions. Alright, so first match. Hookhausen versus Tony Nese and Smart Mark Sterling.
I'm going with Hookhausen.
I am too. That is full confidence right in there. Alright, next up we have Jade Cargill versus Anna Jay.
I'm going with Anna Jay.
Yeah, that... Oh, you're going with Anna Jay?
Yeah.
Really? Oh, wow. I was gonna say, like full fuck... Like, you could have a gun to my head and I would confidently say Jade Cargill would win this.
Okay.
But alright. Alright. Next up, we have House of Black versus Death Triangle.
I don't know. What are you going with?
There's a lot of factors that go into this, and my brain tells me that because they lost because Death Triangle lost when they had Eric Redbeard with them, that they need a win. And I think they're going to pull out the win here. But then you have Julia Hart, who is the wild card. I'm still going to go with Death Triangle, because anything they could pull out with Julia could happen after the match.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going with Death Triangle.
Okay, so far we are only disagreeing on one. So next up we have the Hardees versus the Young Bucks.
I think I'm going with the Hardees.
I am too. They've got to win those titles.
What titles?
The tag titles.
Oh, like eventually.
Yeah, like they need this win to get those titles. They're probably
I was gonna say the Young Bucks don't have the titles.
they're probably gonna win it off of Jurassic Express or Hobbs and Starks. One of those two teams.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next up, Jericho Appreciation Society versus Eddie Kingston, Santana Ortiz, and Blackpool Combat Club in an Anarchy in the Arena match.
I think it's pretty obvious what I'm going with.
BCC?
Yeah.
I don't know. This is so up in the air. BCC doesn't really have anyone to eat the pin. But JAS, I feel like, needs a win. Although... fuck, it's so tough. This one's so tough. I'm gonna say JAS.
Okay.
Because Eddie won his match against Jericho.
Okay. Fair enough.
Now, I think probably the easiest match to predict. MJF versus Wardlow.
Yeah. I'm obviously picking Wardlow.
I think it's a tougher prediction on how many power bombs Wardlow is going to give MJF.
Yeah.
Now this match isn't finalized yet, but
Okay.
Britt Baker versus Ruby Soho or Chris Statlander for the Owen.
I'm going to say it's either, the Ruby Chris side.
I'm going to say DMD.
Okay.
I think I'll explain it with the next prediction. Which is Samoa Joe versus Adam Cole for the Owen.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. I think they're going full Cole Baker on us.
Okay. I'm going with Adam Cole as well.
Okay. Next up, we have Jurassic Express versus Team Taz versus Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland for the tag titles.
I'm gonna go with Keith and Swerve.
Really? Okay. I'm going with Team Taz. I feel like Team Taz is the way to give the titles to the Hardys.
Okay.
So next up we have Thunder Rosa versus Serena Deeb.
I'm going with Thunder Rosa.
Me too. I feel like that's an easy one. And then finally the main event: Hangman Adam Page versus CM Punk.
Hang on. I'm going with Adam Page.
I am too, but I'm not super confident about it.
Yeah, no, I know what you're talking about.
The what is most likely the go home for this match? It reads Punk winning,
I know.
but I don't know if they.
I think it's gonna be a close one.
Yeah.
I think she's gonna be a nail biter.
Yeah. Now, do you think any of these matches will end in DQ?
No.
No. We should include in our predictions like a DQ card. Like we give a DQ card to a match, and if it DQs, we get a point. But we can still predict a winner for it. But no matter who we picked, the DQ card takes over.
I mean, I feel like that would imply that I believe somebody's going to DQ, and I don't really see any. I think the only one I could see having a DQ is JAS versus Eddie and Santana Ortiz.
That's what I was thinking too. That's what I was thinking. Unless House of Black and Death Triangle.
Maybe if the Julia Hart angle comes into play.
Yeah. That's something we can talk about another point, though. I do think it's a little nice way to spice up predictions, but
yeah, sure.
I
like a little spice.
So those are our predictions. For those who don't know how our predictions work, for every incorrect prediction, we have to do a dab of hot sauce. And whoever has the most correct predictions will be crowned the Pinfall Podcast Prediction Champion and deal out a punishment to the loser. You are the current reigning champ, and I have not given you your egg yet. Your winning egg, because I've had COVID.
Yeah, that's true.
There was also a fly on it earlier. Adding a little extra spice to it.
More spice, okay.
You want to answer some questions?
I'll answer a question.
All right, Miriam asked in chat, and if you have a question for us, leave it in the chat. But if you're watching on YouTube, leave a comment and we'll get to it in the next episode. If you're listening on Spotify, join us at twitch.tv/The Pinfall Podcast to chat with us live, or message us on Twitter at Pinfall Podcast. All right, so Miriam asked, who would your dream surprise Ultimate X entrant be for Slammiversary? Dream, so anyone, any company.
I mean, if we're doing dream surprise, it would be her.
Roman?
I think that'd be incredible.
Oh, I got a good one.
It'd be so insane.
Taguchi. That'd be so funny.
He would fit right in.
Imagine Wardlow.
But also on a very biased. Oh, sorry, go on.
Imagine Wardlow. He could do a moonsault.
Power bombs everybody and then calls it a day. He's only allowed to do the moonsault if he fucking rotates a little sooner.
I was on a moonsault. Swanton.
That was yeah. Still.
Yeah.
Also wouldn't mind seeing a certain Taylor Rust, but I'll never see him on Impact because I don't get those.
He's
things.
on New Japan. He was just a mutiny.
Yes, I know. But I want to see him on network television that I don't have to hear about getting taped and then see it 5 months later.
Let's see. Is Taguchi my dream entrant? Man, I don't know. Taguchi would be perfect. Like that would be hilarious.
He would be funny.
Von Wagner.
Okay, all right.
But in reality, imagine Ilya Dragunov in Ultimate X.
That would be fun.
The
That'd be
shit
super fun.
he'd do on those ropes. Oh my god. Yeah, it's Ilya. It's Ilya Dragunov. That's my
Okay.
team. But stick Ilya and Taguchi together. And Evil. Put Evil in there.
I'm gonna stick with Taylor and Hiromu.
Okay.
My little New Japan boys.
Hiromu, we will almost 100% be seeing an Impact very soon.
I'd hope so. I imagine maybe during the G1.
No, I don't think so. I think before then.
Well, I'm just saying because I don't think he's going to be doing anything in the G1.
You don't know. He could. He's been treated like a
Might
big
be.
deal.
What do I know?
But I think like right after Super Junior, I think we'll see Hiromu in Impact, unless he's got shit for Forbidden Door.
God, I can't wait for that card to come out.
I know. Again, they should make it 2 days. That is a 2-day event.
I know. Like you're not wrong.
You're working with two massive companies with massive rosters.
You know what would be super cool?
You
know how like with like YouTube, like sometimes like channels will collaborate and there'll be one video on one channel, one video on the other channel.
Mm-hmm.
They do one day in Chicago. They do one day at like Korakuen Hall.
Tokyo Dome.
Yeah, sure, whatever. Korakuen Hall is the first one that came to mind.
The thing with that is, well, that does sound like an amazing idea, but I don't want them to run into the same situation that Ring of Honor did. Where for the Ring of Honor New Japan Supercard, half the matches, like it was exclusively New Japan matches and exclusively Ring of Honor matches. Everyone loved the New Japan matches. No one gave a shit about Ring of Honor. And that's how Ring of Honor died. Like that is the day that happened.
I'm saying that it would still be like a mix of like, you send some of your AEW people over to Japan, they fight Japanese over there, and then you send some Japanese wrestlers over to America and they fight AEW wrestlers over there.
Yeah.
So it's still mixing them.
Yeah.
But it's just like two separate locations.
Yeah. That could be fun.
It could be.
It
would be.
Orange Cassidy.
Kevin telling Chris to be the commentators for the Japan side of things.
Have Orange Cassidy fight Taguchi in Tokyo Dome.
Stop! That'd be fucking hilarious.
That would be the funniest match of all time. No, Orange Cassidy versus Evil. Actually, with how things have been going lately, Show instead. He's hilarious.
Show is really funny.
Like he's a funnier Evil. Like take what Evil does and actually make it funny or interesting.
Yeah, well. Good luck to you.
All right. Well, that does it for us. Liz, why don't you close out the show?
If you join us tonight, thank you so much. And if you join us in the future, thank you so much. We appreciate it. Mark is coughing.
Yes.
Please join us on Sunday for our Double or Nothing post show, where we will be talking about Double or Nothing after Double or Nothing. So probably at like 2 a.m.
Yeah.
Please join us, because the next day is a holiday. So like, who fucking cares what time you go to bed? We'll be here eating spicy chips and maybe having a couple laughs, a little bit banter.
Yeah. I mean, either way, it's going to be a really fun show. I'm surprised they're not doing a Casino Royale.
Yeah. I don't know.
Maybe make that the like another match on the pre-show.
Maybe. My AirPods are about to die, so.
Okay. Well, thank you all so much for watching. Follow and subscribe. All of our stuff, YouTube, Twitter, Spotify, and Twitch is all the Pinfall Podcast. I'm at the Mark Cameron on Twitter. Liz is at Eliza Elaine23. A new episode of UPF is now out at upfworld.com. If you enjoy competition and or Pokemon, go check it out. But in the meantime, join us Sunday for Double or Nothing. Have a great start to your weekend. We'll see you on Sunday. Bye-bye.